Human Trafficking Prevention Month. I know that you're in town talking to some groups about this and ways to better combat it. What are you hearing? What are you seeing with how things are going in terms of trying to better prevent this?
Well, Karina, it's really the human slavery of our lifetime. It's one of the saddest things I've seen. I was a federal prosecutor and as chairman of Homeland Security, I passed a bill out of the Congress to authorize the Blue Campaign in the Department of Homeland Security, which coordinates with state and local law enforcement, intelligence, but also the private sector, like these trucking associations, the hotels and lodges. What we've seen, whether they're coming from Central America or whether they're impacted in areas like Austin, where at the high schools, these traffickers pick these young women out of school or off the streets and put them into a form of human slavery where they get caught up in sex trafficking and drug addiction and an endless cycle that they can't seem to break out of. We do have a national hotline that I know you're going to put the number up if anyone sees signs of human trafficking or the sex trade to report this to the national hotline. And of course the Blue Campaign at the Department of Homeland Security. I'm very engaged with them. It's a nationwide program. This is an epidemic across the country. We only have more than maybe 300 beds available nationwide for these victims. There are a lot of good things happening, but unfortunately this is a huge human tragedy.
Are there ways, better to combat this that you guys are looking into? I know that it's hard to track some of these numbers, but with what we've been seeing, kind of some of the more numbers that are being tracked, how bad has this become, or has it always been a problem and now it's just getting a better grip on how to deal with it?
Well, that's the exact question I had for the hotline and for the federal law enforcement and FBI's. Are these numbers going up? And the answer is yes. The stats and numbers are going up, but part of that is also an awareness of the problem and addressing the problem more head on, where before it was sort of swept under the rug. People didn't want to acknowledge this. I think people are more willing now to come out of the shadows to report it. And so we are seeing an increase in numbers. And that's why this awareness campaign is just so important to put an end to this and to stop it. I think it's one of the most really worst things I've seen when you're talking about children, really. 12 to 15 years old being exploited in this kind of way.
Congressman McCaul, we'll get you back in soon to talk more. Thanks so much for stopping by the studio.
Thanks, Karina.